In today's Legal Affairs segment, more than 1 million people filed for personal bankruptcy in the fiscal year that just ended June 30th. That's up 34% from the year before. Filing for personal bankruptcy is protecting the debtor and isn't as difficult as some may think. So long as you plan ahead, it doesn't have to wipe you out. Our Legal Affairs contributor, attorney Craig Wisnam, gives us the basics to remember of personal bankruptcy. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
What are those basics?
Well, essentially, there's two forms of personal bankruptcy, a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 13. Chapter 7 is going into the bankruptcy court and saying, I want you to wipe out all my debts. I'll give up whatever I've got except for these few things that I'm allowed to keep, and let the bankruptcy trustee sell, if there is anything, and wipe out all my debts. Chapter 13 is going in and saying, I need some time to rearrange things and set up a plan where I continue to make payments and hopefully be able to maybe keep some more things.
So Chapter 7, you basically, all your stuff goes away.
Except for there are certain exemptions.
And give us an example of one exemption.
Probably the most prominent is people's home. You're allowed in Arizona to keep up to $150,000 worth of home or equity in your home. But the important thing to realize is if you have a mortgage on that property, it's not really protected because the person you owe money also has an interest in that house that they can foreclose on, whatever the bankruptcy says.
Okay. Basically, bankruptcy gives people a fresh start. Is that correct?
Exactly. It wipes out anybody's ability to come back and sue you for these amounts that you owe them once you get things kind of washed out in the bankruptcy court.
And bankruptcy stays with you for what, 7 years, I understand?
Generally, probably closer to 10 in the credit ratings and such. There's some, some people think it's worse if you do a Chapter 7 rather than a Chapter 13. Other people think that Chapter 13 may stay with you a little longer because the wipeout is a little bit farther along in the plan.
How do you bounce back from something like that?
Well, people have to start and try to make a very slow, methodical approach, normally with a very maybe small credit card limit that they really keep up on all the payments, and maybe they can get that credit card if they have some sort of backup in a savings account.
With all the people that are filing, because that's a 34% increase, that's a lot. Is there still that stigma?
I don't know that there is, and that's probably less of a legal question than than more of a personal question. Do you encourage, if somebody comes into your office, you say, you'd be better off filing bankruptcy? Well, I don't, because I don't know enough about it as an attorney. I would refer it to someone who does bankruptcy. But there's some excellent information out there. The Arizona Bankruptcy Court, the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Arizona, has some very helpful frequently asked questions and a pamphlet called Choosing Your Chapter, which is a good starting point before people might be serious enough to go in to talk to a lawyer. But ultimately, like a lot of legal issues, exactly how it affects them and whether it's a good idea or not is going to be something they need a lawyer to consult on.
And you can get that pamphlet where?
It's at the U.S. Bankruptcy Court. I believe it's www.usb.arizona. You might Google it, but essentially it's the Arizona Bankruptcy Court.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back.